All right, guys, this channel is kind of starting to take off. I want to give a massive thank you for everyone who has decided to subscribe, everybody that has been dropping likes and dropping nice comments at the same time. And recently we had a comment telling me, Mason, shut the hell up. We are tired of hearing you claim that you don't know what you're talking about. We are tired of the disclaimer at the beginning of the video, but it's very important that I include it. I want to let everyone know, yes, I love fantasy sports. I love Major League Baseball. I mean, I sleep, breathe, and eat fantasy sports every single day. My expertise, though, is mainly in fantasy football and fantasy basketball. And while I kind of know what I'm talking about with fantasy baseball, it's not nearly at the same level. So what I would prefer to do is I would prefer to bring people on that can go into a little bit more complex strategy, bring people on that can really guide us to a much deeper understanding of the game. So if you have any recommendations on people you would like to come on the channel, go down to the comment section. Let me know, who do y'all want to see? I mean, I can continue to make these solo videos. I think just we're not going to be able to get as in-depth as I would like to. So please, 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 if you have any recommendations, let me know. But let's get into it. And what we are going to be doing in this video is we are going to be going through and we are going to be identifying some players that are looking like, if you want to load up your fantasy baseball lineup with power, they are going to be decent values at their ADP. And to completely be honest, like I said before, I'm not a fantasy baseball expert. I can't make my own projections. So what we are going to be doing instead is for our 2021 projections, we are going to be looking at Fantasy Pros. And for our average draft position data, obviously, this is always going to come from the NFC, a high-stakes fantasy baseball platform. And I'll say, no, I did not talk to them about using this. I'm not getting paid about this. I just have to give them a shout out whenever we use their stuff. But anyway, our first player, I know y'all are going to roll your eyes when I say this because, I mean, you have to spend your first pick on him. So what kind of true value is he? But Mike Trout right now is going as the 5th player overall in fantasy baseball drafts. And currently, Fantasy Pros has him projected to be the #1 hitter in terms of his slugging percentage this season with a 600 slugging. And honestly, I know that sounds like an aggressive projection for Mike Trout. I know that sounds like an aggressive projection for anyone. But we go through and we look at Mike Trout and you go, okay, I mean, obviously, this is one of the best baseball players of all time, if not the best baseball player of all time, but that's another discussion. This, in my opinion, may even be a little bit, I just want to say, on the conservative side, because we look at 2020. He had the slugging percentage of 603, and I know 2020 small sample can't bring much from that. I've talked about that so much on this channel. But in 2019, Mike Trout had a slugging of 645 and led Major League Baseball, and it wasn't even close. I mean, a full sample season. Mike Trout had 645 for a slugging percentage. That is absurd. That is unreal. I know that Mike Trout isn't playing in a lineup that we are expecting to be up there with the Dodgers, with the Padres, but still, I mean, Mike Trout, best player in baseball. I think that the more we talk ourselves into it, the more I would be willing to invest my first pick overall in Mike Trout. I understand that he is not going to steal as many bags as other guys in that top range. And that's how Aaron explained it to us a couple weeks ago when I was saying, like, hey, man, I mean, you just think fantasy baseball, you just think Major League Baseball, anything. And we always point towards Mike Trout as just the cover of Major League Baseball. But why is he going in the middle of the first instead at the very beginning? He's saying, Mason, Mike Trout doesn't steal bags. Mike Trout is also playing on the Angels. While, yeah, they're not the Pirates by any means, but they're also not the Dodgers. All right, so now let's go to some other guys that are actually a little bit more of a value. And our next guy is going to be Giancarlo Stanton. And we know with Giancarlo Stanton, I mean, right now, he has not necessarily lived up to that 2017 season. That 2017 season that he had a 631 slugging, which was #1 in Major League Baseball for that year. And I know just because we talked about Mike Trout right before, that 631 slugging doesn't sound absurd, but I promise you, that is an outlier season if I've ever seen one. I mean, it's ridiculous. And then we go through 2018, that's fallen down to 509. 2019, 2020. Really no numbers that we can take of significance there. But anyway, Fantasy Pros right now has Stanton ranked as the number 12 player in their projected slugging percentage. And on the flip side of this, we know with Stanton, he has his downsides. We know that he has some things he's not going to be bringing to those 5x5 roto leagues. And this has led him to fall down to an ADP of 117. So if you're playing in a 12-team league, you're getting him in the 10th round, is sometimes falling into the 11th round. So I'll say if you're halfway through your draft at this point and you go, you know what, we need some power in this lineup. We need to make sure that we are rounding it out. Or maybe you just want to double down on a few categories. In that case, I think that Giancarlo Stanton is a decent pick for you in those middle rounds. All right, so now our last player we're going to talk about has the biggest drop-off in his projected slugging to his average draft position. And this is Yordan Alvarez. And obviously with Alvarez, I mean, he's a prospect. We do not have too much to look at outside of 2021 projections, outside of the fact that in 2019, okay, so keep in mind, this is a little bit of a smaller sample where we only have 313 at-bats, but still in 2019, he had a 655 slugging. In 2019, he had a 655 slugging. Absolutely absurd. So that is leading Fantasy Pros to project him to be the number 3rd player in baseball with his slugging percentage. And yes, he's not playing in one of those lineups that we really want to target. He's not playing in the Padres. He's not playing for the Braves. He's not playing for the Dodgers. But still, I mean, this is an elite projection. He has an average draft position of 80. So yeah, you're going to have to spend a decent pick on him. But by no means is he going to be someone that is a top 5 asset on your team. So I think this is a player that it's pretty much all upside. It's all upside, low floor. The median projection probably isn't going to be that accurate. He's probably going to be either crushing it or falling extremely short. Now, thank you guys. I know this was a little bit of a shorter video, but I really need to know what kind of videos do y'all want to see going forward. Let me know in the comment section below. It's one of the most useful things that YouTube has. The fact that you can directly tell me what you think. You can directly tell me how much of an idiot I am and what future videos that you would like. So please go down there. Drop a few comments. Let me know what you want to see. And yeah, that's it. While you're down there, drop a like on the video, subscribe to the channel, and I will see y'all with another one tomorrow.